So, hi everyone, my name is Pradeep. Today I am going to talk about a special topic which is related to the economic. The topic name is fiscal deficit. So, today I am going to explain what is fiscal deficit, what are the impacts on the economic, Indian economic, that I am going to explain. So, without delay, let's get started. So, let me explain what is fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is a gap between the what government earns and what government spend in a financial year. So, in mathematical term, I would say fiscal deficit equal to total expense minus total income for the government in a particular year. Just for example, to correlate with that fiscal deficit, like in your family, how much do you earn and how much do you spend in a particular month? If your income is more than your expense, that is surplus, that can be converted into a saving, or it will lead to your growth and prosperous of the family. On the other hand, if your income, your expense is more than your income, that means it leads to you can go for a borrowing or a loan, or it is a form of deficit. So similarly, for a growing country like India, if there is a scenario like deficit, then what should do and what is the impact on the economy, that I am going to explain. So first, let me explain the fiscal deficit in Indian scenario. It is just a key indicator of the government financial health, which is expressed as a percentage of total GDP. Okay. So let's understand by an example. If the Indian fiscal deficit is 5%, that means the government is borrowing an amount equal to the 5% of the total economic output. Okay. So now coming to the next piece of discussion, that is what are the causes of fiscal deficit. Okay. There are many causes are there, but out of that I would like to highlight only 4 major causes. Okay, the first is your high government spends. If the government wants to spend in a various sectors, especially defense, then infra, third is your expense in the form of subsidies. That is the major spend. Second, lower tax collections. Lower tax collections, sometimes the government plan for something that they would receive that much of the collection, but it doesn't meet because of there is a loophole in the act or a criteria or kind of tax evasion or tax avoidance by the taxpayer due to the discrepancy or the lacuna in the tax laws. Okay. Then third is your economic slowdown or reduction in the revenue. This has happened due to certain reasons, or like the cases like pandemic or unexpected crisis, that time the economic slowdown. Then the last but not least, I would say the welfare schemes and kind of social programs, which doesn't have more value addition to the economy, rather it would always consumption in nature. So these are the major causes. Now coming to the next piece of discussion, that is what are the impact on the Indian economics. There are positive impacts, there are negative impacts. The positive impacts mainly economic growth. Second, your cyclical support. The economic growth in the sense, if the government wants to spend more on the infra, road, railway, or kind of medical infrastructures, then there will be huge appointment to create generations. Then the employee or the citizen of India will get more opportunity. In that way, it is a I will say a win-win situation from both the party. Second, cyclical effect, the cyclical support. In the sense when there is a economic crisis or kind of recession in the economy, then what will happen? Now your the deficit will go up. When the deficit is on higher side, that means it will help to revive the demand. it will create artificial demand. In that way, it is a good. Okay, it is a favorable situation for the economy. Then coming to the negative impacts, the negative impacts are there. There are many negative impacts, but out of that, I would like to highlight only 4 impacts. The first is your inflation. Inflation problem in the sense, when there is a more money in the economy, that means it will push the price up, right? Second, your higher the public debt. Public debt in the sense, if the government is taking more loans or borrowing, then the cost of borrowing in the form of interest, which is the extra burden or the extra cost for the economic or the government. Then third is your I would say currency depreciations. Currency depreciation in the sense, when the deficit will go up, then the currency rupee will weaken, and it will, the investor will lose the confidence and they can't invest more and more on the Indian stock markets. And the last but not least, I would say, there is a negative impact on what is called credit rating risk. The global credit rating agency, they may downgrade the India's borrowing rating and making the borrowing most costlier. Okay, these are the negative impacts. Now moving on to the next piece of discussion, that is your the India's level of deficit. So India always try to keep the fiscal deficit within the range of 4 to 6%. Okay, as guided by the your FRBM Act, that is Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Okay, now coming to the conclusion, what is the bottom line of this discussion? Now the fiscal deficit is not always bad for the economic. It depends how much it is and how the borrowing money is being used. If it is properly managed or kind of productively used in the form of investment, then that will lead to the economic growth or it will boost the economy. If it is poorly managed, that means it harms to the economy. So this is a small piece of information related to fiscal deficit. I hope you got a good amount of information, or you can Google it, you will get more information about it. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.